that boom of up and coming directors in the early 70s included people like Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, Woody Allen, Hal Ashby. Um, and yeah, they all went on to make some of the best films in history in that decade alone. The first to make his mark was Robert Altman in 1970 with his anti war film MASH. But the first masterpiece to be released in the 70s was Peter Bogdanovich's second feature film, The Last Picture Show, which I'll be reviewing right now. Bogdanovich was a young man, and this was said to be the finest work by a young movie maker since Citizen Kane 30 years beforehand. Now, let's just be certain this isn't anywhere near as good as Citizen Kane, but it still is quite an impressive achievement that Bogdanovich brings to the table. I've always considered this to be kind of like the more serious version of American Pie. It's it's a sexual tale like that, but as I said, it's more serious. So, The Last Picture Show is a multi person character study about residents in a dying town from 1951 to 1952. It was shot on location, and Bogdanovich wanted to make the film in black and white to capture the time period and also to make sure that each shot didn't look as very, very nice, because that's one thing that colored films do. They make shots look rather nice and beautiful. He said on the Dick Cavett show that he wasn't sure if the studio was going to actually let him do it because it was the early 70s. They were getting away from black and white. But he said that he wanted the films to be done in black and white. He was all calm and cool about it. And they were all like, oh, you want a film done in black and white? Okay, fine. And so I'm going to make the rest of my video in black and white. So yeah, a nice look would have really ruined the what it really would have ruined the film trying to make everything look blank. This isn't like a Federico Fellini film where he's able to make black and white look absolutely gorgeous. Now this is different. So yeah, it's a multi-person character study, and the first two characters we're introduced to are Sonny and Dwayne, played by Timothy Bottoms and Jeff Bridges, respectively. They're co-captains of a high school football team, and they're not very good at the sport. Dwayne really wants to marry JC, who's the prettiest girl in school. JC's played by Sybil Shepherd. And Sonny's girlfriend dumps him. So Sonny starts to have an affair with the coach's wife, who's played by Cloris Leachman. And we get to know JC a little bit more, and she's a virgin. She wants to. Her mother really scared her into getting the best husband possible. Like, there's even a scene where she accompanies young Randy Quaid to a nude pool. Yeah, a bunch of characters we get introduced to, and yeah, those ones are some of the most interesting. The last of the most interesting ones are Sam the Lion, who's played really greatly by Ben Johnson. He owns most of the businesses in town, including the movie theater, which is called the Picture Show. Yeah, eventually you have some of the people inherit some of his things, and Sonny inherits the pool hall. So each of these characters, they're very selfish, and just because the town's it's a dying town, and they're just in search of bigger and better things in life, and they don't know how to achieve any of it. Now that's just my own personal interpretation of what the message of the movie is really about, because a lot of times when you're watching films, the message is ultimately and the themes are what ultimately can make or break a film. And this one, although we get really suckered right into the lives of these characters, they're all very fascinating. What the movie is ultimately about is something um, that can be muddled for some. As I said, I think that it's about the pursuit of happiness, but yeah, maybe it's just me. Yeah, when Peter Bogdanovich agreed to direct the film, it's this based on a novel, right? And he agreed to direct it because he had no idea how he would make it. So it's kind of a big paradox on his behalf. So yeah, none of the characters are perfect. The town is very dead, and the message is muddled. But this is about it's a coming of age film. It's about emerging adults, and everything is just so fascinating. We got sucked so deep into these characters in this dying town, and yeah, if you're able to connect to some of your own interpretations as to the ultimate underlying meaning of the film, it just makes everything all more great. So I'm going to give Peter Bogdanovich's Last Picture Show perfect score, 4 stars.